Books. Amazing things, aren't they? They're made of paper, words, and love. There are so many books in this world, we'll never be able to read all of them, which is why from time to time we need to turn to someone else who has read the book to let us know what we should be thinking about it, but more importantly, what was inside of the book. Well, the good news is today this is a podcast where a husband and wife duo sit across from each other at a desk, and that podcast is called Too Many Tabs. But this week, Mrs. Pearlmania did not open tabs in a book. No. She put tabs to a paper. And that paper was bound inside of 2 covers. And that cover says the name of the book. And that book is Hacienda, The Hacienda by Isabela Canas. That's right. It's a book club episode, mother truckers. I hope y'all are ready, because you're about to take a look in a book. And you're about to read this rainbow.
Too many frauds and too many scammers that we wish weren't real. Too many cons and too many spammers, and we're starting to feel like we've got too many tabs open. It's too many tabs. Remember to smile.
Once again, incredible dance moves.
Thank you so much.
I like the way you danced with the book.
I did. I had to do a little book dance. We invented it this week.
We're all getting our sticker so we can get a free pan pizza.
Yep, that's what this is all really about. Honestly,
I only started this book club for access to more pan pizzas.
Well, it sucks for you though, because most pan pizzas have the gluten.
I know.
And you have...
I have to make my own pan pizzas at home.
I know.
I have to keep track of my books on Storygraph. Yeah. And then when I feel as though I've reached enough reading, I go, I guess I can make myself a pizza.
Yeah, and you use Storygraph, not Goodreads.
Yeah, no, I use Storygraph because Goodreads is owned by the Bezos.
Yep, just like the Washington Post.
And I'm just trying to limit how much time or energy or money I give that man.
Yeah, or more words that he can pump into AI machines. To then put more people out of work.
Yeah, that's his whole thing.
Yeah, that's it's that and being bald. That's like his two big things.
It's so weird because all the other ones go to Turkey. All the other like billionaires, they're like, we're getting more hair, and he's like, no way.
No,
slick.
No, it's gonna be slick.
Lube it up.
You know what I like? That Lex Luthor look.
He's like, no, I'm going for evil villain.
Yeah.
Am I giving evil villain?
I will say, you know what Jeff Bezos has?
What?
He has probably some of the more divorced energy.
Oh, yeah.
He has such hard divorce energy.
He has old divorce. Like, he's like third divorce energy.
Yeah.
Whereas Zuck is clearly in first divorce energy.
Well, that's the thing.
And he's like, I'm going to get into fitness and wear gold chains.
No, Bezos is on his way to second.
Yeah.
He's on his way to second divorce. Zuck is on his way to first.
Yeah.
Zuck is in midlife crisis because we're the same age as Zuck, unfortunately. Yeah. And so we are all like, you hit that 40 and you're like, I don't know how much. Oh, I got a lot less life ahead of me than I have behind me.
Oh, delightful.
Yeah, I know.
Thank God.
And then Zuck looks around and be like, there's a lot of people really excited for a world where I won't be. And
he's like, let me grow out my hair.
But meanwhile, Bezos was just like, hey, I need to have the grossest second wife possible.
You know what he said? He said, listen, if I'm going to have a legacy, let it be company towns. Everybody loves company towns.
Everybody loves the company towns. And then Elon's just like, I'm going to mail cum to strangers.
Okay.
What?
We have a book club episode.
This episode isn't sponsored. We don't have a sponsor this week.
So we can
Which means I can say that Elon Musk, the true techno king of the United States, mails cum to strangers.
Yeah, that
man has 13 children and no proof he's ever fucked.
Well,
13 children, no proof he's ever fucked. I just want to start off because we're going to go into this book and it's going to be a long episode because book club episodes are always long.
Yeah.
I just want to open with there.
You just want to open with, okay, it's a weird way to open a book club. I want to be honest. Usually we open book club, we go, hey guys, support your local library.
Yeah.
Sign up for the events. Do the classes, because the more you sign up for events and do the classes, the more funding they get. And right now, funding is a big issue
because of Elon Musk mailing cum to people.
Okay, so and so we want to make sure we're supporting our local libraries and getting a library card. And if your local library, if you don't have a local library, I believe the Philadelphia Library doesn't require residency, so you can sign up for a Philadelphia Library card even if you don't live there, and then have access to all of the online books and everything. So like Libby, the audio book, stuff like that. So you can still get access even if you don't reside in Philadelphia. If maybe your library doesn't have access to digital books or digital audiobooks.
Yeah, there's a lot
Insider
of options
tip.
out there.
Insider tip right
There's
here.
a lot of options out there for you. is what
Also,
we're
some
trying to say.
libraries have board games. They
Yeah.
have DVDs.
Yep.
Some have cake pans.
Yeah.
Some have a seed.
You know what I saw?
What's it called?
What?
A seed library.
Yeah, Seed Library.
Oh, love that.
You know what I saw at our library when I was there? What's the game that the everyone loves that upset? Pickleball. They had pickleball sets that you could take out. And I went, I almost took it out no one else will get it.
I'm about to get into pickleball. That's
You're about to get into pickleball?
I want to become, I think I've already talked about this before. It's like becoming friends with the women of pickleball just to infiltrate them.
Yeah.
And be like, I want to get all the insider trading from them. I need to know what's going on in the community from their perspective.
Gotcha.
And then bring that information back.
Yeah, bring it back to us.
Yeah.
Over here in our in the trenches.
And I'll be like, you'll never believe what Karen's saying.
Oh my God, her husband's cousin is gonna do this.
Yeah.
Because they all talk too much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
It's not
infiltrate
confess-
the system.
Yeah, they don't
through
confess.
pickleball.
They don't confess. They brag.
Yeah,
And when
exactly.
And when do they brag? During pickleball.
I know.
Which is why I was like, let's just take the pickleball away. But
and I was like, let's join.
okay. I feel like either this is completely around this book, The Hacienda,
No, it
or
has
had nothing to do.
Zero to do with this book.
I'm very excited to read this book because you and I went to Longwood Gardens and you did a little photo shoot with this book.
I brought
in
it
the
because I
cactus
knew that
section.
there is a cactus section.
So you put the book among the cactuses.
And cactus, what's it called? Magua, which is the plant,
Okay.
has a huge starring role in this book. So
Okay.
I wanted to get a picture
With
that.
Okay.
So for the aesthetics, for the vibes, for the Instagram girls, these gays.
Gotcha. All right. So with that, we're ready to start this episode. For those of you guys who have never joined us for a book club episode, again, the biggest difference is we're just going to talk about this book cover to cover, the spoiler-filled review.
Oh my God. Here's what happened. Okay. Years ago, actually it's been happening longer than that. I finish a book. I close my book in bed because I always read before bed. And then I look at my husband and I say, you'll never believe this. And I just, I hit him over the head verbally with everything I just read. And then he just sits there and nods. And I said, what if we made this a podcast?
Yeah.
Where I explain a book, because he doesn't read fiction. And so that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to spoil this book.
Yep. But you're also not going to, there's going to be parts of the book that are going to be left out for time.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So always, if you,
more than usual.
But also, if you enjoy this, we always recommend checking out the book itself, going and purchasing it, or checking it out from your library, or just telling your friends that you like the book, or also telling your friends that you like this podcast.
Yeah. Like, subscribe,
Comment,
stars,
iTunes, Spotify, blah, blah, blah.
Hit the bell.
All right, we did
Call
our
to actions.
All right, all of our actions have been called. This intro has been long. We're getting ready to start. Are you ready,
Yeah.
Mrs. P? I am ready, Mr. P. Are you ready, the listeners? Well, we're going to find out right after this. Let's go.
Okay, listen. We're going to start this book. It's
Okay.
called The Hacienda by Isabela Canas. And this one was highly suggested. People had messaged me for a long time saying you should read this book, blah, blah, blah. And so it's been on the list of like things I do research. People give me suggestions. I keep them. And then I go through and I read. I do preliminary reads. I check to see. Now, I need to be honest with you about this book. I didn't love this book. I'm going to open with it. I just have to be honest out the gate, okay? I didn't love it. I'm sorry. Why are you giving me that face?
I'm just surprised. I knew what your feelings about this book because I've been laying in bed next to you as you read it. I'd be like, how's it going? And you're like, it's going.
Yeah.
And usually sometimes you're like, oh, I can't wait to do this. I can't wait to talk about this part about it. But this case, you didn't really love it?
No, I wasn't. You know what? We're going to get into it.
All right, well, let's get into the book.
I know. Hold on. So our story opens in San Isidro Hacienda. It's 1823.
1823. Okay.
Okay. So this is during the Mexican War of Independence from Spain. Mm-hmm. Okay. The book opens and we meet Andre, or Andres. Now, when I'm picturing this character, because usually I tell you how I picture the characters, right?
Yeah.
A listener had messaged me and said when they imagine this character, they imagine them as Pedro Pascal.
Okay.
Okay. I, however, after reading this book, I really couldn't get into Pedro Pascal. I kept picturing him very much as like Dr. Spencer Reed from Criminal Minds.
Wait, was that the guy with the long hair?
Yeah.
The dorky one?
Yeah, that's how I was picturing him the whole time.
Okay.
Just Dr. Spencer Reed.
Okay. And that's Andres.
Andres.
Okay.
And so he's describing this big hacienda on a gray morning, and he is describing the way that it looks, how beautiful it is, the sunset. He sees and I'm going to butcher this word, the lachqueros, which is the men that are working in the field.
Okay.
And they are cutting the magua, which is where you get agave. So it's the agave plant.
Okay.
And I took a picture, or I got a historical picture to show you, so you could show the camera of how big these plants are. It's important to know how big these plants are.
Yeah, these are like bigger than people.
Yeah, so they're huge plants, and they have to use machetes to cut into them to get the agave out. And then, obviously, agave is sugar syrup. People use it to make alcoholic beverages.
Yep. And tequila.
And tequila.
It's actually been a big issue with agave because with climate change, they worry that the agave plants aren't going to get either enough water or too much water, something in there that's going to kill them in the region of Mexico. And it takes like 20 years to grow each plant.
Yes.
So like if something happens and there's a crop collapse, we might just not have tequila one day.
Yeah.
Sorry to bum everybody out.
Always with the bumming everybody out. So he's looking on the horizon, away from the hacienda now. He's looking ahead of himself, the open road, and he's feeling hopeless and sad. Next chapter.
That's chapter 1?
It's chapter 1.
Here's
the thing. Okay.
You're cutting a lot. You're cutting a lot.
I'm cutting a lot. Now, here's the thing.
Yeah.
The reason that I had a hard time with this book, I'm not going to say I didn't like it. I liked it. Was entertaining enough. The writer is so verbose, and I know why. She's creating this like Mexican Gothic setting. So there's a lot of descriptions about the environment and the way that the characters feel, sort of, and everything, the way it looks, right? So there's a lot of discussion about it.
Yeah.
But it's like every chapter is like, that was probably like 7 pages of just description, and I'm like, he's looking at the hacienda. And then he's walking down the road. Okay, so like it became frustrating at a certain point. So like I have in the past always have to cut certain information. So much of the information that I'm cutting from this episode is just descriptions.
Yeah.
Just so many descriptions.
Okay.
Which is great when you're building the moodiness. But also sometimes, in my personal opinion, it felt like a little much. So anyway, next chapter, we meet Beatriz. Okay. Now, when we meet Beatriz, we're meeting her 2 months earlier than we just met Andre.
Okay. Doesn't feel like we needed that time shift.
There's a time shift. It happens.
Okay.
So she's in a carriage, and she's super excited because she's with her new husband, Rodolfo. And he's opening the door, and she is playing this role in her mind of trying to be a very delicate wife. Right, so she's like gently holding her hand out so he can help her out of the carriage.
Is this Beatriz on the cover?
Yes, that's Beatriz on the cover.
Okay, so Beatriz is here on the cover of the book.
Yeah, she's described as very beautiful, very dark hair. Yeah. She has darker skin compared to the people around her. That comes into play a lot in the story because they talk about colorism a lot. Yeah. And so she is described as having darker features. And she is stepping out of the carriage to see this grand hacienda. And Rodolfo is like, this is San Isidro. And I felt very much like, this is Jurassic Park, right? Like, it was like the way he was introducing it.
Behold, San Isidro.
San Isidro. And so the other thing that I had to look up, because I didn't know this, I had to look up a lot of stuff in this book, specifically about the Mexican War of Independence, who is like a character in this book. And I feel like should have been described more. Like, I wish there was a prologue that told me more about the Mexican War of Independence. Yeah. Because I don't have enough. I went to Catholic school. I don't have enough information.
You went to Catholic school in Northeast Philadelphia, America.
Yeah, America wasn't telling me about
and
this.
The thing is especially for our international listeners, for you guys to understand, is like when we think of something like Cinco de Mayo, that's when we think of Mexican independence, which is after the Americans invaded and stole a huge chunk of Mexico. But also, that independence is from the French. Yeah. That is actually from...
This one's from Spain.
This one's from Spain. This is the original independence, but it's the one we talk about the least because it's from before we then invaded them
Exactly.
and fought that government.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So I had to do a lot of research. But so the hacienda, for me and the listeners that may not know, is like a plantation. It's just a huge building.
It's a big ranch.
It's a big ranch, but like the house itself is just like a plantation. It's a huge estate. The property owner lives there. There's crops or animals on the property that local people work the land. It's kind of like a serfdom kingdom type of situation where the lords of the land live in the big house.
Yeah.
But people live in a town and then they work on the land
Feudalism.
or within the house. Yes,
Feudalism.
feudalism.
Yeah.
That's very much what it's giving, right?
Okay.
And so she is seeing this right now, right?
Because it's feudal colonialism.
Yes. So only Spanish descendants could own haciendas. You need to know that. The Spanish. Okay. So she sees the hacienda for the first time and it's very grand, but it's clearly not being taken care of, right? It's kind of shitty. Like there's plants, but they're all dying. The paint needs to be redone. There's clearly like the roof isn't great. Like
Yeah, the mortar's chipping.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like she sees it, but it's not in great shape. She was told by her husband it was beautiful, blah, blah, blah. It's the most beautiful hacienda. And then she gets there after their wedding and is like, oh, well, this is,
Yeah.
a fixer-upper, if you will, right?
Yeah,
A lot
but it
of
was a
work.
Catholic wedding, so it's not like there's no takey-backsies.
Oh, God. So
You're stuck.
Now, in her mind, we're hearing this from her perspective in this chapter. Again, this is the Beatriz chapter. We pop back in time to when she met Rodolfo, and they're at a ball.
Describe Rodolfo to me.
Rodolfo to me was the husband on the Titanic.
The bad guy?
Yeah.
Billy Zane.
Billy Zane. I was picturing him as Billy Zane.
Okay. I got that. Yeah.
Rodolfo's Billy Zane.
Okay.
And
like when you first see him, you're like, kind of hot. But then like over time, you're like, but the personality just isn't there.
Also dead shark eyes.
Yeah.
So they're at this ball celebrating the founding of the Republic.
Okay,
Yay!
because it just happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're dancing, and he's telling her all about how he owns this big hacienda that's been in his family for 200 years because it produces pulque, which is the beer that comes from this plant.
Oh, agave. Okay. Yeah.
So, because no matter what war's happening, people are going to drink. So, they never had to worry about financial crisis in these times. So she is trying to seduce this guy, right? She's trying her hardest because she's like, this guy is my ticket out of here, right? And so she keeps doing the thing that when you want to seduce a guy, you got to do, which is just ask him about himself. Don't say anything about yourself.
Yeah.
Tell me more about you, right? And so he's just blah, blah, blahing about his hacienda and this thing and his family.
Wait, is that what you did to me?
No, I would never. So back to her taking this tour of this not green and lush house.
No. I want to go back to talking about me.
Yeah, I know you do. The servants are standing in a line as she arrives, and they're greeting her, and they're all like assessing her. Like they're all like giving her the cold eyes.
Seen this in this is like a Downton Abbey type of thing.
Yeah, very that.
Yeah.
I pictured it from Ever After. One of my fave movies.
You always go back to Ever After.
I stay in Ever After. Do you remember that time we saw that girl in cosplay as her in the last scene in Ever After? Do you don't remember this?
I don't remember.
We went to a Comic-Con one year, and I was dressed as I don't know what, but there was a woman.
No, you were dressed as Red Boob Hatch.
Oh, that was the year of Red Boob Hatch?
I think this is the year. If you don't remember who it was, that it was Red Boob Hatch.
Okay, so Red Boob Hatch.
Wait, you need to
was a
explain what
funny
Red
joke.
Boob Hatch is.
So I had been going in cosplay for years to the Comic-Cons, and I realized quickly that nobody gives a shit what your costume is as long as it's hot.
Yeah, as long as, especially if you're a hot woman.
Yeah,
and
so guys would be like,
you did the years before you did Silk Spectre, you did Echo.
Yeah,
the first year you and I went, you did Echo.
Yeah,
and then this year you went. And I was like, who are you supposed to be? And she had her hair in a blonde pixie cut at the time. And she put on this red shirt that had an open circle where the boobs are.
Yeah.
And it was just cleavage.
Yep.
And then she had leather pants on. I'm like, this isn't like a character. Like, what character are you playing? It's just, I'm not. I'm just hot.
Yeah.
And then we went. And she had her photo taken more than when she was like an actual
Marvel
character.
I love your character. They did pictures of you.
Oh, yeah, that's great. And then I just stand there holding a purse.
Yeah.
I had to hold your purse.
But no, there was one woman there who was dressed as Drew Barrymore in the scene where her wings get ripped after the ball. And she had like the ripped wings and everything. It was incredible. I pushed everybody. I was like, oh my God. Anyway, I love the movie. It's actually a terrible movie. She can't keep a British, French, English accent the whole time. It's crazy.
Well,
I could pick that movie apart, but still love it all
Drew,
day
well,
long.
I'll throw it out there. Drew Barrymore
Yeah.
is a Nepo baby whose only
She
reason
is-
she has a job.
She is the most Nepo baby, but love her.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's being assessed by the staff. She's introduced to Jose Mendoza, who is very old, very, very old. He's Rodolfo's right-hand man. There was a guy before him named Villalobos who was dismissed under suspicious circumstances.
Villalobos?
Villalobos.
So he's the wolf?
Yes.
Oh.
Yep. We meet Ana Luisa, who is head of the household, and she's like 50-something years old, and her daughter Paloma. And Beatrice hears other names but doesn't remember them.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Got it. Okay.
I gave up after this.
Honestly, well, that's the thing is like first day at a job,
Yeah.
you always remember like the first 5, 6 people. Oh, I'm definitely working with these people a lot.
The manager's name.
Yeah, the manager name,
Kevin,
and
got
then
it.
you get to like the guy who's, especially like if you were going to retail, it's like, oh, this is Chuck. He's in charge of inventory. You're like, oh, fucking.
we're never gonna talk
I'll
about
say
that.
inventory guy until somebody reminds me his name's Chuck
Yeah.
3 months from now.
Name tag, please.
Yep.
So then a woman comes walking over, and she's super tall, and she has a lot of swagger, like man swagger, and she's dressed in like women's work clothes of the time, and her skin is really tan from the sun, and her hair is slightly blonded again from the sun. And then while we see this woman walking towards us, Beatrice is in her own mind about how, her aunt, her tia, had admonished her whole life to stay out of the sun, because if you don't stay out of the sun, you'll never get a husband, because again, she has a darker skin tone. And how her aunt would never let her daughter stand next to Beatrice because her skin was too dark. And so she's going and playing this in her head because she's seeing this woman who's very tan from the sun.
Yeah.
But then she says it doesn't matter because she still got Rodolfo and those girls didn't.
Yeah.
Cinderella. Again, Cinderella. So this tall lady, her name is Juana. And this is Rodolfo's sister.
Okay.
And what you need to know about her, she's a bitch and she's rude. Okay, that's pretty much all we ever learn about her. She's a bitch and she's rude.
Okay.
Beatrice.
Let me guess. Is she the one who actually is like running everything there too?
Yes. Wow. We didn't even get there, but yes.
I could just, you just have a feeling, right?
Yeah.
Rodolfo sounds like a bag of shit.
Yeah.
He's just a guy who goes, oh, look at me, I got all this money. And he probably doesn't even wonder how they make money. He just shows up, and then he's the face of the place.
Yep.
And then Juana is the one actually dealing everything.
Yes.
Okay.
Beatrice doesn't know anything about his sister. She knew there was a sister, but she didn't know she lived there.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Rodolfo's a dirt ball.
Yeah.
His sister lives at their house.
Yeah.
You're moving your new wife to move in with your sister.
Yeah.
She had no idea you even had siblings.
Just like there is a sister, but like she just assumed married away somewhere else.
That's what
No.
I mean, that's fucking insane.
Juana says Beatrice doesn't have to worry about her because she lives in the small house over by the church. And Beatrice is like, why don't you live in the big house, like in the big hacienda? And she's like, oh, it's just too drafty. So we know that Juana lives with the people that staff the hacienda. She doesn't live within the hacienda.
Yeah.
Okay.
She lives with the workers.
Yes.
Okay. She's a woman of the people.
Ugh, you're not right about that.
No?
No.
Oh.
It's clear that Rod and Juana
you groaned in a way.
Oh my God.
Okay.
It's because I know the book.
I know.
Yeah. It's clear that Rod and Juana don't get along as they talk through their teeth at each other. Like whenever they're speaking, it's clearly like, oh, what the fuck's song? They're talking like this.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can hear it in the way they talk to each other. In the book.
And it's crazy too because this is back in the day before veneers.
Yep.
So.
Back when there was real teeth.
I was watching a thing the other day from the 80s, and I was just so happy because everyone's teeth were normal.
I know, their skin and teeth were so normal.
It was just normal. I was like, look at these normal people doing
know.
normal stuff.
Ugh, when we were humans. She realizes as Juana and Rodolfo are talking to each other that Rodolfo is not the master of the house, that Juana runs this joint. And she gets upset because like she didn't know this. But then she has like this realization that like, well, if she's living among the servants, then I shall rule over the hacienda and I don't have to worry about her. Because we find out that really deep down, Beatrice wants to be the lord of the land, right? Like this is her kingdom.
Yeah.
Right? This is her hacienda. She's married in. She is the dona, and she's in charge.
Yeah.
And so she has this moment of fear of like, oh no, Juana's actually in charge. She's like, no, I'm the wife. I'm in charge.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, instantly what I would, if I was in this situation, I would have had the home would have been mine.
Yeah.
And she can have the fields.
Yeah. Okay.
That's how I would have split it. Because it seems like from the walk-in already that the sister understands that it's the crop. That's where the money is.
Yep.
And it sounds like Beatrice also wants to have like the power behind having the hacienda itself. And when you're going to like the balls, when you're going to the expensive things, when you're hanging with other rich people, they don't look at the land, they're looking at the house.
Yeah.
Because they're stupid.
Yes.
But the people who know. So let the sister have the land.
What I would do, probably prison, just shank her on the spot.
Okay, well, that's...
Claim dominance immediately.
Okay, well, you immediately went to...
So we find out that Rodolfo has offered to move them into his... Oh, so Rodolfo's like, we could just live in the capital, right? Because he has a fancy apartment there. But Beatrice really wanted to move to the big house, okay? He was like, we have this beautiful apartment. We can stay in the capital. I have to work here anyway. And she's like, no, I want to go be in the hacienda.
Yeah, I want to be in the villa.
And because she also wants to move her mom there. Her mom is, I believe, in the capital still, and she wants to move her mom out to the hacienda.
By the capital, you mean Mexico City, or you mean like the capital of the region?
The capital of...
Like that state?
I feel like it's Mexico City.
Okay.
But I don't remember.
Okay.
Oh, her mom is currently living with her Tia Fernanda. And so she really wants to prove to her mother that she made this choice to marry Rodolfo and that it was the right choice. Again, this is all like internal in her head while she's meeting the staff. And then there's a big dead rat on the ground, and Juana's just like, it's just the cats, don't worry about it. But it really freaks out Beatrice because it's like mangled. They continue the tour. And there's some weird damage to different stuff that Rodolfo explains away and warns her to never go up to the ledge on the formal dining room. So apparently there's a big formal dining room, and all around it is a ledge, kind of like an opera ledge.
Okay.
And they used to have the staff go up there with candelabras during big dinners to create like this beautiful ambiance of light during these big fancy meals and balls, right? And he's like, but don't go up there because we had a maid who fell from there and died. And it's very dangerous. So we learned, okay, it's very dangerous up there. Don't go up there. As Beatrice is walking around, she's immediately planning updates. I'm going to paint this. I'm going to buy this couch. I'm going to get a new carpet.
Oh, wow. Never, I don't remember this experience at all. Nope, never lived through this experience.
Picking paint colors out in her mind.
Yep.
While they're walking down one of the hallways, she hears a sound that sounds like child's laughter coming from behind the doors, and she opens the door and it's empty.
Oh,
ookie
ominous.
Spooky. Children's laughter.
Okay.
Gross. Terrifying.
Maybe it was just a series of rats talking to each other.
Yes, this is a Muppet Christmas Carol.
No cheeses for us, Mises.
So we flash back to 7 months ago, and Beatrice is jumping out of bed in the middle of the night. Her house is being set on fire, and her father is currently being dragged out by dozens of soldiers in military uniforms, yelling that he is a traitor. Because we find out that her father was a general in the insurgents against the Spanish crown. Now, Augustine, the Emperor of Mexico, had turned on the crown, and he was running away to Italy. I had to look that up because I was like, how... It gets very convoluted because the guy who used to run Mexico, he became part of the insurgents against Spain. But so then people that aligned themselves with him were considered traitors to the crown and to the new government at the same time. It was so like...
So there's a governor in Mexico, and he turned against the crown.
Yeah.
But then also there were people who were against the governor.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
But then the wealthy were going against the crown, obviously.
Yeah.
But then there was also just like, it was like there were so many different
partisan factions. Yeah.
That whoever could be a traitor.
Okay,
right?
but which one's Elon?
I don't know. He's not in this book.
Okay.
So we have this memory of her father being pulled out with the house being set on fire. And then we cut back to her Tia's house where they're having dinner with her cousins. And her cousins are talking shit about how traitors like her father got what they deserved. Because her aunt's family like hated the dad because he was, different than them. And so the aunt and the daughters, the cousins, they all hated her, but they were forced to go stay with her because after that happened, they had no one else.
Okay.
And so when she...
By her,
Beatrice and her mom
had to go stay with the aunt.
Yes.
Even though the aunt hated them.
Yes, because
but
they
the
had
aunt
no
couldn't
else.
turn them away because family.
She could have turned them away, but what she did was make them be servants in the house.
Oh.
Cinderella.
Got it. Okay.
I don't know if they meant to come off so Cinderella-y, but it did. So yeah, they're working in the house. They're being berated constantly by the family for being traitors and, less valuable, bad people, the whole thing. Back to the ball. Okay.
So the mom is still at that other house.
Yes.
Working as a servant.
Yes.
At her aunt's. Mm-hmm. Okay.
But we're going back to the ball in our minds.
Which ball?
The original ball where Beatrice met Rodolfo.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
This is too much jumping.
You're telling me.
Okay.
And Rodolfo is a military man. He is of the provisional government that ousted the emperor. Because he wasn't a governor. He was an Augustine was an emperor. So Rodolfo is of the military that killed the father.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So after...
I don't actually.
Okay. Rodolfo is wealthy Spanish family.
Okay, which means he was pro-crown?
Yes.
But then pro-republic.
Yes. And then Beatrice's dad was pro-Mexico, but had to align themselves with Augustine, the guy that turned on the crown. You see, it's also convoluted.
It's the Augustine part that I'm stuck on.
I know. I don't...
Well, when we take a break, I'll look it up.
You look it up and you let me know.
Okay.
It was all very... I actually had to open tabs because I had to figure out what was going on with this war because I was so confused as to how the provisional government would
I've
be
just
with
never
the
heard
rich
of this
people.
Augustine guy.
Listen, I
Like,
don't know.
he's calling himself an emperor.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I'm like, there's
and then
not
he
an
ran away to
empire.
Italy? I don't know.
Okay.
So after the ball, where they meet, and she flirts with him, he asks her to marry her. Immediately in love, I guess? Or, I don't know. But there's a bad vibe because everybody knows that she is the daughter of this general from the opposition. Right? So, like, why would he do that?
Yeah.
That's like a thing. When she goes and tells her mom, like, Mom, I'm going to marry this guy. Mm-hmm. Mom loses it. She's already sick. She has stress of losing her husband. She's living with this bitch of a cousin. She has to work in this house now. She's gone down in the caste system, if you will. And now her daughter announces that she's going to marry what some might say is the enemy. And Mom is pissed and sad. And actually, after she tells her, she refuses to speak to her. She doesn't talk to her anymore while they're living in the house. And she refuses to go to the wedding. Like, Mom is out. Mom is like,
oh, really?
Absolutely the fuck not, right? And B is like, yeah, I know he's one of the Spanish men, but he's my only chance to get out of here. So she and her mom fight because she's like, I don't have the privilege to marry for love. I have to marry to save myself, right? And her mom is like, no, absolutely not. She doesn't speak to her. She doesn't come to the wedding, blah, blah, blah. Her Tia goes to the wedding, and her Tia talks mad shit. Just like anybody she's standing near, she's whispering shit. She's talking about how the bride looks negatively. She's talking about Rodolfo's first wife and how she suspiciously died.
Oh.
We find out that there was another wife.
Wow.
And she died under suspicious circumstances. Did she
Okay.
die because she was killed by vagrants on the side of the road while she was driving in her carriage? Did she die of influenza? I don't know. Suspicious. Okay, so we're finally back to the present day, which is 1820.
Okay.
And we get back to the present day, and Juana, Beatrice, and Rod, I wrote this as Juana, B, and Rod are eating dinner for the first meal together. And they're having like basic dinner convo, keeping it light, but also Juana's a bitch. And B is like, again, just like has this energy of like this very young, naive energy, the whole book, which kind of frustrates me. You know, a naive character always gets me.
Yeah.
Don't love it. But so she has this very naive of like, she's not paying attention to what's really happening around her. She's just like, I can't wait to decorate and fix up the gardens and blah, 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 blah. And Juana's like, you don't need to do that. It's fine the way it is. And Rodolfo yells at the sister and is super angry and is like, my wife's word is my word. So whatever she says, you have to do. Like freaks out on her.
Yeah.
And Juana leaves the table and goes to bed. Goes to her house and goes to bed. And Beatrice didn't know that Rod had a temper like that and was very startled. Yeah. Not a great sign. Also,
not a great sign that you don't know.
You gotta know those things going in.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah. I feel like that would be a thing.
Unless you're on Married at First Sight Australia, because then you can make some of the greatest reality TV show TikToks ever showed me in my life.
Okay. Well, with that, why don't we take a little break?
Okay.
And when we come back, I'm going to find out who this emperor is.
Okay.
Because it's driving me insane.
Okay.
And then we'll find out more.
I like the historical inaccuracies are the thing that's driving you nuts.
It's not that. It's just like I'm trying to understand. Because, like, I understand that Rodolfo's a bad guy. It feels very much like a Bluebeard situation where he gets wives and he kills them.
Okay.
It's kind of what it's already feeling like it's being implied.
Okay.
And all those type of things. So I want to know a little bit more about that, but also since like how this tie-in happens, because Mexican history is also one of those things that, again, we're only taught about it in the United States in the context of how America fucked it.
Yeah.
In those moments. So like beyond Mexico was founded, somewhere in there they became independent, but they have a bunch of back and forths.
Yeah.
That like we didn't have. And so it's like trying to figure out more about that side. But we'll be back with more from the Hacienda after this. Okay, so I figured it out.
Okay.
So basically, this guy, Emperor Augustine,
Okay.
the first of Mexico, he was a military officer who fought on behalf of the Spanish Empire against rebels.
Okay.
Eventually, he changed side and became a rebel himself.
Switching sides.
He switched sides. Then they won. They kicked Spain out.
Yep.
And they were like, we're going to set up a republic. And then he declared he was made the president. And then after a year, he named himself emperor. And then all of the Republicans, Spanish Republicans, then chased him out a year later.
Yeah.
So that's the order of operations that happened. That's why I was like so confused.
I was so confused.
I know as you're going through it. So he is the Elon.
Yeah.
Emperor Augustine the First of Mexico.
He is the Elon in the story.
He's the
I was
Elon of
really
the
trying to
story.
keep Elon out of this story.
I'm bringing him in.
I really wanted a book club episode without Elon.
I'm tying him.
Here we are.
I'm tying him back I'm tying him to the back of this story Cybertruck and dragging him through the street.
So in the beginning of her time there, right? Oh, where did we leave off? Juana leaves the dinner because
Yeah, they're at the dinner and they're like on
just found out
flashbacks.
that they're fighting. So blah blah blah. In the beginning of her time there, so now like she starts living there, right? We have some time. She's trying to show power in the household. So like whenever she's engaging with Juana or Annalisa, she's like in these small battles, right? For like dominion over the property.
Yeah.
Right? And she keeps meeting pushback. First of all, Annalisa doesn't respect her at all. In the least.
Yeah, why would you?
And Juana's just like, whatever. She's
new manager.
Yeah, she's new manager.
She's a new manager. She showed up with all these new ideas.
And no experience.
None whatsoever.
None.
Yeah, like a new
I think she's a teenager.
Like a new manager.
Yeah.
Okay? Can we be clear? Like a new manager of anyone who's ever worked anywhere. You're going to show up, you're going to tell me, I've been doing this job for 30 years.
Yeah.
You're
she
gonna
was
tell me?
born here.
Yeah.
Annalisa was born here. Her mom worked there.
She's
You're
like,
gonna come in and tell me how to do my job.
I'm part of the land.
Yeah.
I came with the deed.
Yeah.
You're going to tell me what to do?
Exactly.
Okay.
So she's getting a lot of pushback, and she doesn't know how to handle it because she doesn't have a spine.
Yeah.
She goes to church, and on Sunday, it meets all the ladies of the town from the other haciendas nearby. And one of the ladies is like, nice to meet you. You're nearly as lovely as Donna Maria, though quite a bit darker. Which, whoa, bitch.
Yeah, okay.
Whoa, bitch. And we find out about the last wife's name is Donna Maria.
Okay, that was the last one. Okay.
And apparently she's not as pretty as her. And the Donna Maria was very light-skinned and had like blonde hair, right? So
Okay.
Very different. Then one of the nights she's laying in bed going to sleep next to her new husband, and she sees two bright red eyes in the corner of the darkness. And then she like blinks and they disappear, and she's like, oh, it was probably just a cat. But then as she's falling asleep, you know how you get those thoughts when you're right about to fall asleep? She realizes she's never seen a cat on the property ever since she's been there.
But also, you're about to go to sleep and you saw eyeballs?
Red eyeballs.
In the room.
And she was like, must be a cat that didn't jump on the bed or meow.
I mean, this is also from a different time when there wasn't as much glass.
That's true.
Like rooms weren't enclosed in that way. So like things were open, and so you would have
the
times.
cat would get in.
Yeah, I'm saying cats would get in, birds would fly in, all that
I feel
different
like
things.
you notice them though.
This is also back in those days when like the beds had netting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you'd have the bed thing where you put the, you know what I'm talking about? Where you it felt like you made a blanket for it.
Yeah.
It's like
they still do that a lot of places with mosquitoes.
No, I know what I'm saying, but they do it with mosquito netting. But I'm
Yeah.
saying in particular with this back then, you would have these big heavy curtain beds.
Yeah, to block out the sun.
Yeah, princess bed.
Yeah, that's what you need, a princess bed.
I do need a princess bed.
So now we're going to go back to Andres' point of view.
Okay,
And
is this 2 months in the future?
It's 3 years earlier.
Oh my God.
Time warp. So he's back in the town. Okay, the
It's
town.
everyone in this is just a Tarantino movie.
The
We're just gonna play around with the timeline and
Just the
reveal
timeline.
things as we reveal them.
Yep. And town's called Apan, Apan, Apan.
Okay.
And he's been away at seminary in Guadalajara.
Okay.
So
he's
we
a
find
priest.
out he's a priest.
Okay.
We learn about the other two
Is he a
priests.
sexy priest? Oh no, you said he was a
told
nerd.
you, the one lady who texted me, she was like,
I
he's
think of him as
sexy.
sexy.
And I was like, I think he just kind of seems like kind of a dork, but okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Some people want to have sex with that guy though.
oh yeah, for
The
sure.
guy from
Dr.
Criminal Minds.
Spencer Reed, for sure.
Yeah.
But I just don't think he's like hot guy priest. I think he's dorky hot priest. I agree with the sentiment. He could be a hot guy.
He could be a hot guy if
But a
you've never
different-
seen other men.
Dr. Spencer Reed is hot.
Yeah, but he's like office hot.
No, because he's next to the guy that looks like our quarterback.
He's next to the guy who looks like Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
That's true. I guess next to him.
Yeah, and still there
Yeah.
are fan pages to Dr. Spencer Reed.
That is pretty hot.
So what are you gonna do?
I don't know. Okay.
So
Okay.
it's 3 years before Beatriz has arrived at the hacienda. He has moved back to town. There are two other priests that he's working under. He kind of seems like an intern priest, like he's done the seminary study, but he's not a full priest yet. The other two priests are assholes. Next chapter. We're back to now.
So wait, are we just throwing? We're just throwing this guy every now and then. He just has these weird cameos walking around.
Yeah, basically for a bit until our main character Beatrice meets him.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it just feels unnecessary.
Oh God.
Because like he doesn't matter until he's met.
Listen, we need the backstory. So much story.
But when they're describing him standing there,
Yeah.
is she describing him sexy?
Not really, no.
Is she describing him like in any sort of way that feels like it's driving you towards?
No. It's just a lot of
And as he stares wistfully.
it's about the darkness he's hiding. So there's darkness he's hiding.
Okay. As a priest.
As a priest, yeah.
As a Catholic priest.
Is the darkness
The
he's
darkness this Catholic priest is hiding?
We're going to get there. Stop jumping to conclusions.
Okay.
So now we're going to go present time 1823. I don't know present
So
time.
we're time jumping around a Catholic priest that is slowly walking towards her house as she hears the giggles of children.
Okay. When you put it like that,
Oh, as I put it like that, it sounds like I'm writing a book.
Rodolfo has to go back to the capital because they're going to go set up the first election.
Since the emperor.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she wrote a letter to her mother, and she asked him to take it to her in person because she hasn't been responding to the other letters she's been writing. She also wrote...
Hey, husband who was part of the forces that murdered my dad, would you go talk to my mom and tell her to move in with you, the man who worked with the forces that murdered her husband?
set our house on fire while we were asleep in it after
Yeah.
you shot him from behind.
Can you tell her to come to this building where she's going to hear us loudly have sex?
Okay. When you put it like that,
I'm
she also sent him with a list of furniture which she wants to have delivered from the capital.
Okay, we're doing sending. This is the 1820s Mexico version of Amazon and some
Yeah.
Instagram DMs real
Yep.
fast. It's called Rodolfoing.
Rodolfo.
Go, Rodolfo, go.
So now we're following her. She's out surveying the garden, and she's trying to decide what she's going to do with the garden because she wants the garden to be beautiful for when her mother eventually moves in. Obviously, she falls off a ladder Ana Luisa sees her fall off the ladder and is like, what are you doing? And she's like, reviewing my grounds on my property. And Ana Luisa's like, hey, you have servants. Like, you don't need to get on ladders.
Yeah.
And she's like, but I do what I want. It's my property. And she does immediately feel bad about being a bitch to Ana Luisa because she knows she sounds like her aunt. Talking like to the staff that way.
Yeah. She's also trying to like, she's trying.
She's trying to
everyone's
peacock
like,
so hard. And they're just
on.
like, I don't know her age, but I'm like, you're 17. You're 18.
Yeah.
You're not grown enough to be
I'm
telling
gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put her under 24.
Under 24.
That's where I'll put her. Under 24.
Under 24, coming in being like, I'm the boss now. And you're like, oh my God. Oh
Sorry.
my God.
What's your 9/11 memory? Do you not have one? You can't tell me nothing.
Can't be the boss.
You can't tell me nothing.
So now
you don't have a 9/11 memory? Did you go to high school on Zoom?
I feel like her 9/11 memory is her dad being murdered and her house being set on fire. So like she does have a bad memory.
She does have a trauma.
Yeah, she has
But
one.
how many?
Okay.
You gotta layer them.
She's too young. She hasn't got. Well,
that's what I'm saying.
This book is going to layer them.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying though. Is that's why she can't be the boss. I need a tiramisu level cake.
I need you to have been in whatever industry we're in talking about for at least 20 years.
I need you to have a Neapolitan of pain.
Ooh, strawberry. So she's digging in the garden, getting ready to do plants, and Juana shows up and is like, what are you doing? If Rodolfo saw you digging in the dirt, he'd be so mad. Like, you need to have the servants do it. And she's like, Rodolfo cares about women's rights. And Juana's like, I don't know what he told you, but he don't. And it's because like, apparently like while they were like dancing at that ball or whatever, he was talking about, you know, he's part of this new government and they want to have rights for widows and blah, blah, blah. And so she thinks he's like not feminist, but like that he cares about that. And Juana's like, he don't.
Yeah.
You dumb child.
No. He's a male feminist. He's a male. In his bio, he writes proud male feminist.
Yeah. Well,
I got it.
Hold that thought.
He's part of the hashtag resistance.
So that night, Juana invites herself to dinner. She's like, I'm going to eat dinner with you, whatever. And they're talking about what Beatrice wants to do with the house. And like, not in a way where Juana cares. She's just like, wait, what are you saying you want to do? And Beatrice is like, oh, there's this beautiful color blue. I want to get these like furniture and tiles and all this stuff in this very specific blue and let me take you to my room. I'll show you the silks that I brought from the capital that are this color. This is the color I want to do. And Juana is appeasing her, but she definitely being a bitch about it.
Yeah.
She's like, what? You want me to see the silks? Okay, sure. So they go to her room and she opens the trunk and she starts pulling out these blue silks, but they're covered in blood. They're dripping in blood. There's blood on everything. And they run screaming to the kitchen to clean it off. And then when they get there to get the like water to clean off their hands, because their hands are covered in blood from touching them, there is no blood.
Okay. Wait, they both saw this?
Yes.
Okay. The silks were covered in blood.
Yep.
They ran to the kitchen to wash their hands.
Mm-hmm.
And now
then there was no
gone.
more blood there.
Okay.
So then Ana Luisa.
I'm gonna warn them.
Okay.
It's 1820s. You can't tell anyone about this.
Don't tell anyone.
Because they're either gonna get an exorcism, or they're gonna be like, "This is women magic.
Yeah.
This is evil witchcraft."
I think you read this book.
No, I just know it's the 1820s.
So
when people think back in time, and you're like, "Yeah, it's the 1820s." You're like, nothing good happened.
Nothing great.
That's. Oof.
So, Juana ends up getting Beatrice and herself drunk on mezcal in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Juana's like, listen, that was a lot.
Once you see a box full of blood.
Yeah. Let's have some mezcal. And Ana Luisa is burning copal in the kitchen, which is like incense. It's a resin I looked this up. It's a resin made from trees that's like you can light on fire and then it creates like an incense type smoke. Okay. It comes up so much.
Does it get you high?
No,
it's just a smell.
It's like an incense. It's just a smell.
Okay.
And it's very important in this book. It may be important historically, but
culturally,
yeah. But I really just kind of looked up what it was because it's a resin. So they end up eating dinner eventually after they get drunk on the mezcal, and Juana says after they finish dinner, They're walking back towards where the bedrooms are in the hacienda, and Juana leans into Beatriz and is like, I lied. I don't live in this house because I'm scared of it. It's not that there's a draft. And then as she kind of pushes her down the hallway, in this dark hallway, all alone, drunk, and her and Ana Luisa leave, and she hears them laughing, or what she thinks is them laughing, but it also was like childlike laughter. But she thinks it's them being petty bitches. So now she has to walk down this hallway that's all dark, and she's drunk, and now she's scared because of what Juana just said. And she feels invisible hands push on her, and she nearly falls, but her candle does go out. And then when she's in the complete darkness, she does feel panic, but she does find a match when she gets to her room. Next day.
Okay.
Oh, God.
So our scary thing so far has been trunk full of blood.
Trunk full of blood.
And then child
Feeling hands pushing her while she's walking in the darkness.
In the dark. Okay.
Yeah.
While hammered.
While hammered on mezcal.
Okay.
Notoriously.
Yeah.
That'll get you going, that stuff.
Yeah. Did she eat the worm?
Probably not.
Yep.
No, because she's like a very like Cinderella-y girl.
Yeah.
You know
You don't eat the worm.
The next day, she's touring the house with Paloma. That's Ana Luisa's daughter. And she's making lists of everything she wants to change. Now, so she's basically walking around with a notepad and pen. And she's like, and I want to do this, and I want to do this. And she's surveying each room. And she gets to the hall of the north wing.
So you got to pick one room at a time.
You can't
That's the
do
thing.
all of them.
You can't do all of them at once.
No.
This is what's going to drive you insane. You got to pick one quadrant and work out from there.
Yeah.
You can make a big checklist all you want, but you're just biting off more
You're
than
going
you
to get
can chew.
overwhelmed. It's going to become too much.
Yeah.
You have to start slow.
This is why you need to hire the Pearlmania Hacienda experience. We'll come in, we'll pick one room with you, we'll really make it pop, we'll really get it good.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk to you more about a theme. Do you want to keep going on each room?
Yeah.
Or should each room have its own theme?
Graceland style.
Maybe this room should just be dedicated to Spider-Man. This next room can be solely dedicated to Harley Quinn.
Yeah, okay. Nobody's hiring you for the Hacienda if you do that.
I don't think you understand of how popular I would be as an interior designer.
Yeah.
If I came down to Mexico and was like, this room, the living room, Spider-Man. And they'd be like, $1 billion. And like, what's next? The dining room? Harley Quinn. This man's a genius. What about in this room? This room is just going to be... we're going to take lyrics from the band The Smiths. Yep. And we're going to paint them into the wall.
Honestly, I would do that.
Yeah, because they love that guy from The Smiths. I can't remember his name. He's an asshole. He's a racist.
Yeah, asshole racist guy from The Smiths.
Yeah, but he's really popular in Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah. They love emo, too.
Of course.
That's why
Who
this
doesn't?
book is ready for emo.
Wait, where am I at? So she's in the north wing.
Yep.
She has her notepad, and she, at a certain point, she leans on the wall to write a note. So she's gonna write a note in her notepad, and the stucco crumbles under itself. And she that's crazy. Like, this is a really well built house. Like, it shouldn't be crumbling. So she kind of rubs against the wall to feel where the brick is coming loose, and when she does, the brick comes away. Right? And she's like, what the heck? Like, a full brick just popped out. She's like, I'm going to need to repair more than I thought. We're going to Lowe's. But she instead starts pulling bricks out. She's like, what is going on? And then she looks inside the wall and she sees something shiny glimmering in there. So she pulls more bricks out. Smart. Keep removing bricks. And then when the sunlight goes inside, she jumps back because she can see a skull inside the wall.
Yep.
And when she really takes a look, she can see there's a whole body in there, and the sparkle was actually coming from a gold necklace around its neck.
Oh.
Someone had bricked up a body into this wall.
With a necklace on.
So she panics, and she runs to find Juana and try to figure out what's going on. And of course she gets there, and Juana's like, you're crazy. Go to bed. Did you have a bad night's sleep? Like, this is crazy. And Juana's a real bitch about it. She's like, yeah, okay, I don't think so, crazy pants.
Yeah, okay, Juana. You think the house is fucking haunted.
Yeah.
And then you saw a chest full of blood.
Yeah.
And now she's telling you she found a body bricked up in the wall.
And Juana's like, you're crazy.
Nah, I don't believe you.
So
all you have to do is walk to the room to see it.
Yeah, so she takes them back to the hallway, And when they get back there, it's all bricked up. It's not even, it's like it never happened. So then they're like, okay, so you're crazy.
Okay. Well, then, yeah. Well, then, yeah, that now you say she's crazy.
Yeah. And after they leave her in the hallway, because they're like, you're losing it.
Yeah.
As they leave, she hears a voice go, "Wanna, wanna." And she's like, well, that's suspicious. That's weird,
Yeah.
right? I don't like that. And this is the moment she realizes that someone died in this house and that these women are not going to help her figure out what's going on, right? She has no allies here.
Yeah.
Except for Rodolfo, but he's not there.
She just figured this out now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So she writes a letter to Rodolfo.
I can see that why you got mad. Because it took her this long to figure out that she's been dining with the ops. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She writes a letter to Rodolfo, and she's like, listen, I want you to have a priest come bless the house. She doesn't tell him why. She just like, I need a priest to come bless the house. And he says, okay. And he responds by writing her a letter with another letter in it to take that letter to the priest, Padre Guillermo, and then he'll come to the house, which I thought was the funniest thing ever. He wrote a letter to have another letter.
Well, because she as a woman can't just go directly to the priest.
She can't go right to the priest.
Yes,
Hold on. My computer is doing something crazy right now. Like, screens are opening up. I don't know what's going on. Okay, wait. What? Okay, we're having a technical difficulty.
Well, why don't we take a break?
Okay,
while
so
you have a technical difficulty.
I'm having a technical difficulty.
And then when we come back, we'll learn more about this haunted hacienda. And we're back from our technical difficulties. We have an onboard USB mouse now attached to Mrs. P's laptop.
We're doing it. We're living in the future. That's right.
Well, it's because the ghost took over the touchscreen that I
true.
cannot turn off on your laptop. Because I just want to tell everybody, computers used to fucking work. Computers used to just work. They used to just do stuff, and then suddenly, all of them have to constantly be attached to the internet. Every single one of these fucking computers constantly, over and over and over again, have to run these background updates that are run at these random times that make no sense, and then this update over here throws off this thing, and then this thing fucks up this thing, and then suddenly it's this entire fucking stupid bullshit. Why? Why?
I don't know.
I just used to hit record and it recorded. I upgraded some shit and now it's like, oh, we got to run this update or else. And then when I run that update, that thing doesn't work. You have a touchscreen on this fucking monitor that just randomly decides it's being touched by nothing.
It's the ghosts. The ghosts like to talk shit on my book club episodes is what's happening. Because
no, I just think we should print everything. Everything should be printed on paper.
No, we can't do that to the trees right now.
Oh, you know what? But what have the trees done for me? That's where I'm at.
They make the clean air we breathe.
Oh, cool. They allow me to keep breathing, so I'm alive. Thanks, trees, you pieces of shit. Tell me more about this book.
So the letters, which were written on trees.
Yeah, exactly.
She got the letter.
She got the letter for the
priest. She has
priest.
to take it to the priest. Here's the thing.
Who is she? Pronouns, please.
Beatrice.
Beatrice, the main character.
Beatrice, the main character. She got the letter from her husband so she can have permission to go ask the priest to come bless the house.
Okay.
Okay. So she takes it to the priest. And the thing you got to know is Beatrice is not a religious woman. Her parents taught her not to trust priests because they could easily be bought, and also the Inquisition situation.
Oh yeah, which wasn't long ago.
No, it wasn't long ago.
And
in
it's
this
like
part
a part of their culture.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like she doesn't like priests.
Yeah.
It must be said, and she doesn't trust them. She's like, she treats them like some people might think of cops. You know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because they're Jesus cops.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she knows that she wants to get a priest in the house because the vibes are bad. And so her plan is actually, she's going to take the letter to the priest and ask him to come bless the house. But then when they get there, she's going to say, hey, listen, actually, false circumstances, I want you to do an exorcism. Right? Which I don't know if you know priests. This might not go well.
Yeah.
Priests don't like a switcheroo.
Yeah. Also, aren't only certain priests allowed to do exorcisms?
Yeah.
Because like you have to have like special paperwork for that.
Yeah.
They don't just let anybody
Not
just do an
anybody.
exorcism.
And if you do them too much, they're like, hey, wait a minute.
Hey,
wait, maybe you're of the devil.
Yeah.
So she takes the letter. The priest is like, yeah, I'll do it. But then the main head guy says he doesn't actually do it. He sends his 2 other guys, priest name, I don't remember, I think Guillermo. And then Andre. Remember Andre? This guy, the priest intern.
With his dark insides.
Dark insides. He refers to it as like this black box in his soul. He's like, in my dark box, in my black box. Right? Okay. Whatever.
What is he, a plane?
So they show up, they do the blessing on the house, and she explains to him that the house feels off and she wants an exorcism. And the priest, not Andre, the main priest, is like, you are an hysterical woman.
That's what he says?
Yeah. He's like, no, you're hysterical. How dare you suggest this? Because like you said earlier, you can't just go around saying this shit in 1820.
Yeah.
You end up in locked up.
Yeah.
Okay. You get put in places. You start talking like this.
Yeah, you get burned.
Yeah.
Literally.
So she immediately senses this is not good, that he doesn't believe her. And he thinks she's nuts. But before they leave, Andre is like, listen, I believe you. Meet me at the church tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. Suspicious.
And he's like, take me to church. Right?
Yeah,
that's how that song's?
That's how that goes. And you did a great rendition of it.
Thank you.
Everybody loved that. So she then later gets a letter from Rodolfo.
I'm working really hard to get through this book.
You're working hard. I'm working hard.
Yeah. Rodolfo, by the way, I just want to let's talk about this name for a minute.
Okay. Can I call him Rod?
No.
Oh, damn it.
Because Rodolfo it's just a stupid name. I hate the name Rodolfo.
Whoa.
No, because it's Rudolph.
If you're listening and your name is Rodolfo.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Or your pop-up's name is Rodolfo.
Listen, if that's your parents hated you.
No, that's not.
And they hated your pop-up.
No, okay.
Because if they loved you, they would change that.
To Rod.
Or something. Rodolfo is just, it's very,
Rodolfo,
you know what it is? It's
the reindeer?
No, it's just also, I think it's just Dolphs in general.
Oh, Dolphs.
I'm anti-Dolph.
Well,
Adolf, Rudolph. If you got a Dolph Lundgren?
Yeah.
Screw him.
So
from Philadelphia. Rocky beat his ass.
Oh,
you think there's gonna be a pro Dolph Lundgren podcast?
No, I never thought it was gonna be. I was just coming up with another Dolph.
Yeah.
So,
Dolph Ziggler? You could have said Dolph Ziggler.
Okay, but I do kind of like Dolph Ziggler.
He had sex with Amy Schumer.
Ew.
Yeah, exactly.
Ew. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I take back what I just said.
Yeah, exactly. There are no good Dolphs.
Leave a comment.
Maybe that's the comment.
Leave a comment.
If you think that there's a good Dolph, give us an
Name 'em.
example.
Name 'em.
Name one good Dolph. You can't.
So,
Write in the comment section.
She gets a letter.
I can't think of a good Dolph.
She gets a letter from Rodolfo from the Capitol, and he's pissed because that priest sent a letter to Rodolfo being like, yo, your wife's fucking crazy talking about exorcisms. And so she got a letter telling her she was in trouble with Rodolfo because she's, quote, drawing attention from the church.
Yeah.
Again, you don't want the eyes of the church on you.
And that's how you get a spanking.
Okay, so she steals a bunch of copal from the kitchen to light in her bedroom because
That's the incense
That's
stuff.
the incense.
Incense resin.
Because she notices that Ana Luisa always keeps copal burning in the kitchen, and she seems like the vibes are better in the kitchen than in the rest of the house. So she puts 2 and 2 together and is like, I should burn that in my room because the vibes in my room are really bad because of the red eyes and the touching and all the bad stuff.
This is very similar to you putting rosaries all around the baby's crib.
Well.
Okay. Baby's laptop works fine.
He's a boss baby. I just pictured him, boss baby.
Yeah, he's just over here just being like, time to do a crypto rug pull. He can walk.
If you think Pearl Baby would do a crypto rug pull, then you're correct.
Yes, you are. That's why y'all need to get involved right now at the bottom tier of our new crypto scheme.
No,
plan.
It's a plan. It's a plan.
Crypto plan. Buying the Pearl Baby a coin.
Did you see the Hawk girl just came back?
Yeah, I did.
She just came back and was like, I didn't know what I was doing.
God, you know how bad this book is? I want to talk about the Haktua girl.
Shut up. So, she steals copal. She's burning it in her room.
Yeah.
That night, while she's going to bed, when she locks her door, she's nervous. She's got the incense lit.
Yeah.
She locks the door, and then suddenly there's a bang on the door, right? Somebody's like hitting the door really hard.
Bang, 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 bang.
But then suddenly, it's like 50 hands all at the same time. Ba, 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 ba. And she knows there's no one outside the door. So this disembodied pounding keeps happening on the outside the door. And like
disembodied pounding sounds like a metal band. We are disembodied pounding. And this is our lead song. Take me to church, I wonder.
If you do the lyric to any song.
I told people in the warm-up, I don't know the lyrics to songs.
To any song.
That's not true. I know lyrics to a couple songs.
Yeah. I said a hip hop,
a hippie to the hippie to the hip hop, and you don't stop to rock
it. A bang bang boogie. Okay, sorry. So
the disembodied pounding.
Disembodied pounding is just going on, but sometimes it stops and she can like fall asleep for a minute, but then it starts up again.
They're hitting her with the water torture?
Yeah, it's not even, it's in random patterns. So it's just
my
like
God.
Sometimes 20 minutes, sometimes 1 minute,
she's
sometimes an hour.
She's being attacked by a newborn. That's what this is.
I also went through this.
This is infant sleep regression ghost.
That's what the childish giggling is.
Oh my God.
So then she goes to church to have the secret meeting with Andre the next day. No sleep. She ends up, they're like, oh, we're going to meet in the confessional. But then they get caught by the other priest because this priest isn't supposed to be doing confessionals yet. Like he's not, I don't know. I don't understand the certification process, but he's not there yet to do the confessionals.
Hey, you're only an apprentice child molester.
Okay.
What?
So they meet up in this closet basically to have a secret.
The priest is in the closet? Do you hear yourself right now?
They meet in a small room.
The
in
Hacienda.
The back.
Do you hear yourself right now? You got a priest in a closet?
No, I'm saying that. It was like a small room, and they're meeting in there
rectory?
to talk about. No, it's not smaller than that.
So the rectumry.
Oh, no. And there's a bit of sexual tension, which is...
Of course.
I need to tell you something. There's supposed to be this like sexual tension between these two characters, Beatrice and Andre.
They're supposed to be.
And I, for the life of me, could not get into
You couldn't find it?
I couldn't find it. It just, we'll get into it later. But like, so this is the beginning of, oh, there's, our wrists are touching or whatever. And, oh, we're just very close to each other. Look at his long eyelashes. All men have long eyelashes. It's God's big joke. So they make a plan. The plan is that he's going to move into the church that's at the Hacienda.
Yeah, I guess once you said that he's like an intern. He's like an intern priest. It doesn't make sense for him to be Pedro Pascal because Pedro Pascal is, 50, right?
Yeah.
Or he's like upper 40s.
Also, he just doesn't have the swagger of Pedro Pascal.
No, but also I'm just thinking in general, at this point, to me, maybe like a super young Pedro Pascal, maybe if this was like 2005.
Yeah.
But I can't picture him because this sounds like a very young priest.
Yeah.
You know what I'm picturing is like, if I was just picking anybody not based on nationality, the guy who played Elvis.
Oh, that weird guy.
Yeah.
Or who got too into it.
Yeah, got way too into it. I can't remember what his name is. Or if I just don't give a shit and I want to print money and get an SNL plug.
Okay.
Timothy Chalamet.
Oh, Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah. Twink priest.
So
when Timothy Chalamet hits twink death, it's gonna be fucking hilarious.
Oh my God. So the plan is he's gonna move to the church that's at the Hacienda so he can do mass for all the people in town more regularly. That's what they're gonna sell it as.
That Andre's
He's coming. Yeah, Andre's coming to live at the Hacienda church full time so that they can do mass regularly for the residents and staff, but also secretly at night they're going to figure out what's going on in the house.
Oh, they're going to figure it out.
Oh no.
They're going to figure it out.
And he says, listen, you need to burn copal. And she's like, what? What does it do? And he's like, it purifies your surroundings. And she's like, I knew that's what it was doing. And you're like, you didn't know that. You just saw someone else doing it.
Yeah.
Anyway, the next day.
You inferred it.
Next day, Andrea shows up. He's looking to move into the little house next to the... I wrote Andre. It's Andre. I'm like, what spell check happened here?
It's actually pronounced Andrea.
Andrea. When he arrives, Ana Luisa looks shocked, surprised, and suspicious when she sees Padre Andres. She's like, she looks suspicious and surprised. Those are the two things you need to know.
Okay.
That night, whatever, all this stuff happens. That night they meet in the green room, which is not the green room. It's just a room that used to be green, so they call it the green room.
But it's not green now.
It's not green now.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay.
But this is where we're going to...
You know what? Okay. You just explained how small this town is to me. We're going to meet in the green room. Okay, so the room that's green?
No.
Used to be.
It used to have a green rug. We got rid of the rug. Still
but we still
green
got the green room. Okay.
And he asked if she's okay.
You know what's funny? Actually, this came up earlier.
What?
I had a conversation with somebody earlier about how you and I wash dishes.
Uh-huh.
And like you don't pre-rinse them as much.
Okay.
Like I almost basically wash the dish and then push it in the dishwasher because I feel like there should be a speck of food on it.
Okay.
And then you just put it. You'll rinse it some, but you just put it in. You're like, no, that's the dishwasher's job is to clean the dish. Yeah. And I realized what it is. It's because my family line has had dishwashers longer. Like we had like. If you go back a couple generations, like my grandparents had like the first dishwasher where you still had to really wash the dish and then put it in.
Yeah.
But your family didn't have it until they were priced well enough that they did actually clean the spaghetti sauce off the plate.
Okay. Yep.
And so like that's the difference. Hence the same idea with this green room.
Okay. Also, I know how to clean the filter of the dishwasher, so I just clean it.
When I was telling that person that, they also were like, did you know dishwashers had filters? I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Did nobody know this?
Yeah, I did. I sure did. Except
no, I know. I'm just saying it's one of those weird
sometimes
things.
a spaghetti noodle gets in there and I got to get it out.
Sorry about the aside.
That was a crazy aside.
I just needed it hit me and I just need to get it out.
So
because I wanted to live in today and not 1820s.
1820. They decided to take a tour of the property together. They've got copal burning to protect themselves. Beatriz doesn't want to do this, but she goes along with it. They walk through the dark hallways with the candlelight, and there's really cold drafts, and they hear a lot of weird things, and doors slamming and giggling, and the name Juana. And they get up to the north hallway where she found that bricked in body because she told about that, obviously. And in the darkness with the candlelight, they can see the hole in the wall, and in the hole in the wall, red eyes appear over the bricks looking at them. It's the same red eyes from the bedroom. And as they get closer with the candles, they can see the sparkle from the gold necklace. And there's the skeleton laying in there, right? And Andre starts praying. How does he pray?
Oh, he says, take me to church.
And
is that how he prays?
That's, yep. Mm-hmm.
Or is he more like this? He's like, in nomine Patria, Filii, Spiritus Sancti, in nomine Patria, Filii, Spiritus Sancti.
Literally, that is written.
Oh,
and
really?
I cracked up because I was like, I'm going to say, and then the priest starts praying and you're going to do it because you always do it.
Oh, in nomine Patria, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. That's all they say? Is that all he says?
Yeah, he starts praying because what happens is there's a huge blast of cold wind that happens as soon as he starts praying and all their candles go out.
Yeah.
And they can't see anything, so they start
because
running back.
Because he's not a trained professional exorcist.
So runs back to the parlor.
You should only get priests from Francis list, okay? It's like Angie's list.
Oh my God, no.
No?
No, I love it.
You love it?
I'm picturing it.
Thank
I'm
you.
loving it.
I'm loving you. This is we're getting through this.
We're doing it.
Yeah.
She ends up sleeping on the floor. They end up going back to the green room. They run there to hide there, and she's gonna sleep on the floor while he holds watch, and she's laying there.
Meanwhile, there's other people in the house.
No, they all leave. At
night, everybody leaves.
The servants all leave, so there's no one there.
Okay.
And so
I do imagine though people outside, like just watching these candles and screaming, because it's pretty clear that like the ghosts or whatever this
there's some guy in a
is,
field with a machete, just like, what the fuck's going on over there?
Happening over there? As they run back and forth.
Yeah,
between...
that lady screams at everything. She's so scared of
screaming.
Everything.
Yeah, I get it. It's a cat. It's a fucking cat. Did no one tell her?
There's a cat.
Sorry, it's Mexico. Lady, it's El Gato.
So she's laying there trying to fall asleep. And he starts speaking in incantations and drawing runes on the floor in burned ash.
Okay.
And she's like, oh my God, he's a witch.
Oh.
And he ends up like slicing his hand and putting a little blood on the ground in the place where he's drawing these runes. And then she says it out loud. She's like, oh, you're a witch. And the priest is like, yeah. That's, yep.
He just says yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So we also find out that Andre is actually also related to Ana Luisa and Paloma.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why she recognized him.
That's why she was like little sus.
Little sus, what are you doing here? He grew up in the house on the land. Like he grew up like in the town. So like he spent his whole life there. And we also learned that he has this gift, this magic gift.
The Shining.
That he had since he was a child.
It's the Shining.
And he can hear spirits and prayers.
It's the Shining.
And that's why his grandmother made him go into the priesthood so he could hide in plain sight from the Inquisition.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
The Inquisition.
And we find out that Andre, the reason is that he wasn't there in the town is because he was banished by the previous wife.
Can I tell you,
Yeah.
I'm very upset because I used to have an Inquisition button programmed on here.
I know.
And I took it down a while ago because I was like, when am I going to need that button again?
Today's the day.
I could have been hitting it so many times.
I know. I'm sorry.
You could have warned me.
So yeah, all that opening stuff was him leaving the hacienda. Remember in the early chapters, is because the previous wife banished him.
Okay.
That had a suspicious death.
Wait, the previous wife that died like 2 months before?
Sort of, kind of.
It wasn't long. It's not
wasn't
like
long.
he was like, oh, I've been a widow for. I'm gonna tell you now.
Yeah.
This Rodolfo guy,
Yeah.
bad person.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you know something else.
Yeah.
If you die,
Yeah.
I'll wait longer than Rodolfo.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
not
you.
much longer,
Just a little bit.
but just a little bit.
You're going to need someone to take care of the baby who's running all these schemes.
No, well, yeah. I mean, listen, the baby's out here doing crypto rug pulls.
You got to get somebody to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, I really do because I just need help. I just need to make sure that our son doesn't like fall down the Doge pipeline.
Too late.
Too late. Uh-oh.
Andre leaves to go help a town that has measles for 3 days and then comes back. He hears the prayers of the people towns away. I don't
Okay.
know. So when he comes back,
RFK Jr. Gotta go.
he's got to go help.
It's the same medical
I got to
plan.
go help. So
He just shows up. He's like, all right, everybody.
I'm here to pray.
Everybody start kissing.
No.
That's how we deal with this.
Let me get some zins for my throat. So when he comes back, they set shop back up in the green parlor and to do battle against the spirits. And he does this incantation and like makes a salt circle. And like she stands, he's like, you're going to stand in the salt circle.
Yeah.
You can't leave.
Does he call her his little slug?
No!
Get
very
into
funny.
the middle of my salt circle, my
Don't
little
cross
slug.
the line, slug.
Don't cross the line.
So he's doing these incantations.
And then he starts his prayer, and he's like,
and he's
"Take me
floating.
to church." Sorry, he's floating.
He's floating.
Okay,
And she's in the salt circle like, wait, what?
he can float.
It's not even like a salt circle. It's like he just drew a circle
Yeah,
with
yeah,
chalk. But
I
I
know.
call it the salt circle.
Oh, okay. Wait, he's floating?
Pardon me, yeah.
Like
so,
Chris Angel, Mind Freak floating?
Yes, Chris Angel Mind Freak. He's doing an incantation. He starts floating off the ground. She's
Okay.
like, what's going on? And she hears screaming and wailing, and in her head is like this crazy headache because she can hear this loud screaming in her head.
Yeah.
But she sees him floating, and she's like, what? And then suddenly he gets like flung across the room with this loud screech. And when he falls, she sees that he's hurt, so she runs to help him, which breaks the circle.
Oh, you can't break the circle.
And which, because she broke the circle, the spirit is now loose in the house. They freed it from the house.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, isn't that kind of what you wanted? Because you don't want him in the house anymore.
I think that's what you would think you wanted.
Oh, okay.
Right? You would think that. But let's see what's happening. He might have a concussion.
Well,
'Cause
he definitely has a concussion.
He doesn't remember anything the next
He
morning.
was floating and he was thrown across the room by a mysterious force.
Yeah.
Okay? Mm-hmm. Having been at the Eagles Parade where I saw people being floated by crowds
Yeah.
and then thrown against a wall by a mysterious force,
Yeah.
that's called a concussion.
Yeah.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
But, okay.
So she ends up taking care of him overnight and sleeping on the floor of his room.
What's with her and sleeping on floors
She
now?
cannot sleep alone.
Because
okay?
Beatrice is now a dog?
No, it's just thing I noticed in this book is that like she can't sleep alone ever. I think she's codependent. She can't sleep alone. So she ends up sleeping on the floor of his room because again she's so afraid to go in the house, but she wants to monitor him because he might have a concussion. So next morning, knock, knock, knock at his door because they're in his house. Paloma's there and she's like, "The fuck are you doing here, Donna?" But she's more like, "What's wrong with Andre?" And she tells him the thing like, he might have hurt his head. I don't think they had the word concussion back then.
No, he
hurt his head.
He got a bump. He got
fell.
a bump on the noggin.
But Paloma doesn't care.
Paloma
about,
Diamond?
Paloma Diamond does not care that Beatrice is in this priest's room overnight.
Yeah.
She's like, I have terrible news. Ana Luisa died.
What?
Which is her mom.
Okay.
So they all run over to Ana Luisa's house in a panic, obviously. She died with the face of terror, and her arms are up like trying to protect herself from an attack, right? So she looks terrified, and her body's stuck in this position.
Because they released the spirit.
They released this spirit, and it went and it killed Ana Luisa.
Out of revenge.
Kinda.
I'm
So,
assuming it's revenge.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that the spirit...
You're super good at reading books.
I'm assuming that the spirit is the dead lady in the wall.
Okay. Who's the dead lady in the wall?
Probably the ex-wife.
Okay.
That's my assumption.
Because died, not divorced.
Yeah. But,
Former wife.
It's Catholicism. The only way to get divorced is to start a new church.
Yep.
Yep.
So, our new church, we find out that Rod's coming back.
Who's Rod?
Rodolfo.
Exactly. Don't make him cooler than he is.
So,
Rodolfo's return.
Rodolfo's returning. Joanna delivers a letter to...
I am obsessed with how many different ways you've said her name.
yeah.
You've been Joanna, Juana, Joanna. You have not decided. You're like, listen, I'm gonna get it right one of these times.
It's a numbers game.
You've said her name about 20 times, 19 different ways, which means
one of them's
instead
right.
of picking one, you're like, I could do a 50-50 where I could, say one of it, and the other one, or I could just make a choice. It's very crazy.
This is actually funny because on my screen it just says Joanna. Spell check made it Joanna. And so that's why I said Joanna. Because I was just like, why does it say Joanna? But I didn't even think about
So Joanna and Rod, these fucking bags of shit.
Joanna, Rod, and Beatrice.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Dre's over there like, take me to church.
So Joanna delivers a letter to Beatrice, and she's like, you better get your witch priest out of here because Rodolfo hates that dude. And he hates native superstition. And Beatrice is like, what? And she's like, yeah, you know that. And she's like, I don't know that. And then Beatrice has this realization that she doesn't know anything about Rodolfo and like his likes or dislikes. Like she doesn't know that he doesn't like.
This is like when I found out on our honeymoon that you have asthma.
Yeah.
That time you got stung in the eye by a bee and then somebody turned to me and was like, is she allergic to bees? And I was like, I don't know. And they're like, you've been engaged for 6 months. And I was like, she pays the rent on time.
Yeah.
That was literally my response.
Might be allergic to bees. Don't know. So Joanna, but also we need to tell you, Joanna looks a mess.
Of course.
She got drunk and fell asleep in the fields.
Her best friend died like in the face of terror.
But no, so get this. She didn't even know. They're
She
like,
didn't know?
haven't you heard? And she's like, heard what? I'm like, Ana Luisa died. And Joanna's response is, well, that's it. One word. Well.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, she says, well.
Well.
She said like Ronald Reagan too. Well.
Yep. She says it like Ronald Reagan. So they end up telling everybody, go home so Paloma can rest. Andre and Beatrice go back to the main house where they go to the green room, of course. And when they get there, Rodolfo's name is written all over the walls in blood. Over and over. Rodolfo, 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 just dripping in blood.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So Beatrice turns to Andre and is like, what did Rodolfo's first wife look like? And Andre says, oh, tall, blonde, thin, Spanish. And Beatrice realizes that this woman that's been haunting her dreams, which is a whole part I skipped, is the ex-wife's been haunting her dreams.
Okay.
And she starts to think that maybe this evil ghost is the ex-wife.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Wow. Mm-hmm. I think it's one of those things where, again, it makes sense that somebody in the 1820s wouldn't put these together as quickly. But again, because we've lived in a world of these stories, these styles of stories, these genres of stories existing for so long, I often feel like one of the characters in Scream.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, yep.
It's a franchise now.
It's just, no, I know.
I watched the new Scream, by the way.
Did you watch it? But it's just one of those things where I'm just like, yep, yeah, it's the dead wife. Like the second you were like, his first wife died mysteriously. I was like, okay, and then some ghost.
Cool, there's yours. So We also have a flashback moment, of course.
Okay. Got a flash.
We find out the reason that Andre was banished was because Paloma had come to him and said that one of the servants was pregnant and that she needed herbs. And we find out that the servant got pregnant because they were raped by Rodolfo.
Oh.
And this is a thing that happened often, right?
Okay.
So now Andre is having this internal battle. Is he a witch or is he a priest? Because if he's a priest, he can't do this.
Because it's abortion herbs.
Yeah. And so if he's a witch, then he has to help Paloma. And he decides that his grandmother taught him all of this witchcraft and all of these things. So in order to honor his grandmother, he's going to do this, right?
This mortal Catholic sin.
Yeah. And so a few days later, not even a few days later, he gets all the herbs together. He goes and he meets Paloma in the kitchen to tell her how to do it. And they get caught by the former wife. And the former wife is like, what are you doing? Who is this for? Because she thinks it's for Paloma.
Oh.
And she's like, it's not for me. And she's like, I'll cast you out, because you're a lecherous woman. And they're like, no, it's not for me, blah. And so they admit that this other servant was raped by Rodolfo.
Yeah.
And was pregnant. And a few days later, that servant suspiciously falls from the high balcony in the dining room.
Oh, when Rodolfo was like, stay away from that floor.
Yeah.
Got it.
Because the wife pushed her off. Because the wife doesn't want, an heir of.
Yeah.
So it's a whole thing. We also find out that everybody fucking hated the past wife, and then she was evil and mean, and everybody hated her.
Okay, but she was pretty.
But she was pretty.
She was pretty mean.
Pretty mean. They have a funeral for Ana Luisa. It's not any big thing.
I think, did Andre give a prayer at it?
Yeah.
Okay. Was he like, take me to church,
if you do this
I'll
one more time,
worship like a dog
can't
at the
be the
shrine
thing.
of your
This you
life.
gotta stop.
I'll tell you my sins, you can sharpen your knife. Offer me that deathless death. Oh God, let me give you my life. I looked up the lyrics.
Yeah, I was about to say, do you have the lyrics in front of you now?
I did fine, pulled up the lyrics.
Oh my God.
Because I knew it was driving somebody crazy.
So they have a funeral. They find out that some of the Andre's experiencing memory loss this whole time because of that head injury, and he can't remember the incantations that his grandmother would have taught him.
Because he's like, if I'm a pagan in the good times.
Oh my God.
What?
So he can't remember how they're going to get the spirit out of the house because he can't remember the incantations.
I'm going to, just so you know,
Yeah.
I'm going to tag Hosier in this.
I hope you do.
It's going to be hashtag Hosier.
Can you make sure that the picture is you looking like Hosier?
Well, I'm going to make the picture Hosier.
Perfect.
It's just going to be Hosier and this book.
Yeah.
That's going to be the thumbnail.
People will be like, wait, what?
What the fuck is this?
What?
And I'll be like, that's it.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so now Beatrice and Paloma got to go cook dinner because remember, Ana Luisa, or maybe you don't remember because I don't know if I made this clear. She's the one that was the head cook. So now that Ana Luisa has passed away,
yeah.
Paloma has to do this, but also Beatrice is helping.
Okay.
Which is not normal.
Okay.
Because like the head of the house shouldn't be cooking in the kitchen.
Yeah, not at all.
But she's like, listen, I'm going to help. And then Paloma's like, why are you so different than the others?
Yeah, because this is a book.
Because she's so different. And
I'm not like other girls. I'm the final girl.
Beatrice is just like, no, I used to live with my aunt and I had to help her. I had to work around the house. And so this Paloma starts to experience Beatrice as more of a human instead of like this wealthy person that she works for.
Yeah. She's like, you have a backstory.
You have a backstory, sort of. And that's why she's different. And Paloma explains the history of Andres to Beatrice and about the banishment. And so this is when Beatrice is shocked to learn that her husband sexually assaults the staff. But she's actually not shocked. She like immediately believes it.
Yeah.
Beatrice immediately believes everything she sees.
And here's.
Yeah. So she's like, oh, he is? Okay.
That's it? Just, oh, okay.
No, like she's upset, but she's not like, my husband would never. She's like, oh, okay.
Well, she doesn't know this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
She met him and immediately got
She's
married.
learning more from the people around.
And then he left.
And then he left.
He was like, hey, I gotta go. I gotta go start a government.
So
he left to start a
Paloma's
government.
like, I guess I have more respect for you now that I know your past. And she's like, listen, also the whole thing, the main reason Paloma starts to respect Beatrice is because she realizes that Beatrice has nowhere else to go. Because like Beatrice's mom doesn't talk to her. She doesn't have any other family that she fucks with. She's stuck with Rodolfo because of this marriage. And so Paloma literally says, you know why I like you? You're going to die here like the rest of us.
That actual quote?
Yes.
Honestly?
And I was like, Paloma all day.
Yeah, you know what? No, I love this because that is a feeling I've gotten at some places I've worked where, again, new manager comes in. They just really make you feel like, I'm going to make all these changes. You're like, this fucking asshole. They're just trying to do all this so they can bounce. And then you realize, like, oh, no, this is
life sentence.
This is the life sentence. We're stuck. You're stuck here with me.
You're stuck here with me,
You're
boss.
locked in?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck it. I guess we're doing it.
Yeah, I guess we're going.
Yeah. Once you, it's like, it's in that second year.
Yeah.
But she's hit second year 3 days in.
No, we're like weeks in at this point.
It's a weeks?
I'm just speeding through.
Feels like days.
Oh, she's in shock to hear that her husband... No, she wasn't. So the next day, Rodolfo and Beatrice... Oh, Rodolfo's back. Rodolfo and Beatrice go to the cemetery. No, I wrote Rodolfo. I'm so sorry. Andre and Beatrice go to the cemetery to look at the former wife's plot. And we find out that the plot is empty. There's no body there. Which is how we figure out that she's the one in the wall.
Oh, no. Who could have ever foreseen that?
Back at the house, they go back to the house, and Andre speaks in prayers and incantations that he finally remembers.
Oh, can I tell you what the prayer sounds like?
No, you have to wait. And he traps the spirit of the ex-wife back in the house. Because again, you would think you want the spirit to get out, but when the spirit got out, it killed Ana Luisa. So what their solution is to trap it back in the house.
Okay.
Which I feel like is not a great move.
It feels, okay, so it's Ghostbusters rules.
Ghostbusters rules.
It's Ghostbuster 1, right? When the EPA...
Yeah.
Remember in Ghostbusters when the EPA was the villain? The Environmental Protection Agency?
They were like, these guys are bad.
Wow, it's crazy that Lorne Michaels would actually approve this. Anyway, he claims that he's non-political.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, sure.
Yeah, all right. Anyway.
I actually know someone that used to work for him.
Who, Lorne Michaels?
Yeah.
From SNL fame?
Yes. When I was working on The Lion King, one of my coworkers used to be his nanny.
Oh, really?
And she had a lot of things to say about him.
Negatively?
Yep.
Okay.
Anyway.
Never getting booked on there.
So.
Or maybe I would. Maybe they will. Who knows? You never know. Listen,
never know.
There's a lot of different things we
Things
could
can
do.
happen.
Maybe I have a comedy special in the works. Who
Maybe.
knows? Who
Could
knows?
be.
Okay.
All the staff start cleaning the house super crazy because Rodolfo's on his way back, remember? So
Oh,
they
yeah,
all gonna
yeah.
start cleaning, getting everything ready. And she, like, things are breaking because, like, doors are getting blown off the hinges and shit. So, like, they got a lot of shit to fix. It's just blowing past that.
Could you imagine?
The fucking ghost is raining terror in
Meanwhile,
this house.
Rodolfo.
And we're not talking about the other servants that are dealing with any cleanup right now.
Yeah. It feels very much like in the show Community when the Janders had to walk in after the paintball episode.
Yes.
You got all summer to clean it up, buddy. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, Jesus Christ.
So then they get to clean up the house. Now they're all going to sleep in Paloma's room because the priest is still kind of sick. Beatrice can't sleep alone. Whatever. So they're all going to spend the night there. Again, nobody wants to sleep in the big house. Rodolfo is back now. And it turns out that Joanna has given Beatrice this letter being like, oh, I'm coming home, right? But Beatrice didn't read past the first sentence, which said, I'm coming home, comma, we're going to have a big party with all the other Hacienda families the day I get back. So when he arrives, he's like, why isn't the main room ready? We have a big party tonight. So then she's got to run to the kitchen and help prep this huge event for the night.
Even though they have a murderous ghost floating around the building.
He doesn't know nothing about that.
I know he doesn't know nothing about that, but you got a murderous ghost floating around the building.
Also, she's like, Ana Luisa died.
Yeah.
Nothing. He's unaffected.
Okay.
So now she's running and helping Paloma fix the food in secret because she's the head of the household. She shouldn't be doing it, but also there's no one else to do it. The dinner party goes pretty well. Food, pretty good. Joanna gets really drunk, makes a scene. Not good. Also, Beatrice sees an apparition of the ex-wife sitting at the table with big sharp teeth looking at her. Which, again...
That's all she does? She just sits there?
She, sits at the table in an empty seat, which is like, why is there an empty seat? You didn't set this table well enough. But then, she just sees...
I love you. That was really... That right there, that was the meanest... Y'all have been listening to this episode for a while. That was the meanest thing Mrs. P has said. So, there's an empty seat? Way to set the table. You are the mean first wife. Maybe she left the seat open for Elijah. You ever think about that?
So whatever. They get into there's a fight after dinner, after everybody leaves, and we find out
Who's fighting?
Hold on, I'm about to tell you. So after everybody leaves, still in the house is Beatrice, Andre, Juana, and Rodolfo. And Rodolfo and Juana get into a fight in the next room, but Andre and Beatrice can hear it. And what they hear is that Juana is actually not the daughter of Rodolfo's father. She's a bastard child.
Oh.
And he knows this. And he's like, and if you don't stop fucking around and being an asshole in front of company, I'm going to, take your inheritance from you and kick you out of the house.
Oh, okay.
Right? Basically, that's what gets said. So that night, she goes to bed with Rodolfo.
Who goes to bed with Rodolfo?
Beatrice.
Okay, Beatrice.
Because her husband's home.
Got it.
And she pretends to be on her period, so she doesn't have to sleep with him.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah, I was like, smart. But then, in the middle of the night, she gets so scared by the darkness, because there's like darkness creeping up the edges of the room. Like she can see it and feel it, and it's really cold. Also, Rodolfo is unaffected. He doesn't feel the cold. He actually complains that it's too hot. Like, he is unaffected by the ghost.
Okay.
It does not affect him in any way.
Because he's a man of science in the Republic.
Yep. And so, but in the middle of the night, she gets up and runs out of the room and hides in the church, where, of course, Andre comes to visit her and stays with her praying the rosary all night to keep her feeling safe.
Praying the rosary, huh?
Yep. So
take me to church.
She sleeps in the church, gets up in the morning, heads back to the house because she's going to try to sneak back in bed so her husband doesn't know that she didn't sleep there.
Okay.
When she crosses the corridor, she screams really loud once she gets into the corridor of her bedroom, because Rodolfo has been murdered in his bed.
What?
That's right. Overnight, while she was sleeping in the church, he got murdered.
By human hands?
By the ghost. Nope, it was human hands. So there's police everywhere, military officers, big scene.
How the fuck they get there so fast?
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to skip ahead a little.
Okay.
Juana called the police early because she's framing Beatrice.
Oh.
So I just skipped ahead a little. Who cares?
No, that's fine.
Rodolfo wasn't murdered like Ana Luisa. Like he is slit in the throat, so there's blood everywhere.
Yeah.
Big
Actually
scene.
got his throat slit.
So turns out Juana's trying to frame Beatrice. The military police are there. She gets arrested and held in a different room while they're trying to remove the body. It's a whole thing. There's a quick burial. I need to tell you, the funerals that are happening are so quick.
Yeah.
10 minutes. Digging a hole in the ground.
In nomine
We're not
Patri
talking
et Filii et Spiritus Sancti.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Moving on. Next. Nobody's taking time to really mourn here. That night, the military police lock her in the green room, right? So this is the room we've all been hanging out in. They lock her in there. And
with all the runes etched everywhere.
With the runes and stuff. But I guess there's no windows in there and maybe one door, but the guards aren't outside the door. They're outside the house. And when she gets in there, it smells funny, but she really doesn't pay it any mind because she's in a panic that she's getting blamed for her husband's murder that she knows she didn't do because she was sleeping in the church, but she can't tell anybody because then they'll know that she was sleeping in the church with the priest. So she's alone in the house. And the ghost is going crazy, right? She can hear the ghost slamming the doors down the hallways and doing all kinds of weird stuff. So she can just hear the terrors happening around the house, and it's getting closer and closer to where she is. So she's just sitting in the corner in a panic for a lot of reasons, obviously. And then she hears banging from the roof. And this is a new noise. She hadn't heard this before.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden a hole appears in the roof. And here's Juana, right? And she has a huge bucket of liquid in her arms, and she pours it into the room. And as soon as it splashes down onto the carpets, she realizes that the smell that's been in the room was alcohol.
Okay.
And Juana has poured bucket of basically mezcal into the room, and she's standing on the roof with a huge torch, and she's about to throw it into the room.
That's
set it on fire.
Fucking crazy. This is crazy.
So Beatrice,
she's going 0 to fucking nuts. She got hammered, murdered her brother. Now it's I'm going to burn this place down with the military police outside.
What could go wrong?
Yeah.
So
This is a perfect plan.
Beatrice is on the floor screaming. She's like, "Don't do this. Let me go. I won't tell anybody." Ba ba ba. Joanna's not listening, right? She doesn't give a shit. She's crazy. So
she's probably hammered.
So then Beatrice has a new plan, and she starts screaming to the ghost, Donna Maria. She's like, "Donna Maria, she's on the roof. You can get her. She's the one you want."
Okay, hold on. The fact that the ghost name is Donna Maria has not really hit me until this exact moment, because you just hit me with such Mayfair Neasty. Donna Maria, she's on the roof.
It's Donna is the title.
Donna, I know, but you were just like, Donna Maria, she's
Donna Maria, she's on the roof.
Yeah, Donna Maria, she's on the roof with your husband. Remember that fucky? Like, if anybody runs the roof, it's you, Donna Maria.
So then the fire starting. A huge cold gust of wind comes through and rips the roof open more, and Juana falls into the room, into the fire. And when she falls, she definitely breaks a rib or something. There's a gross crack. And now Beatrice is trying to get the keys off of Juana's body, but Juana's fighting her and actually stabs her with a machete.
Okay.
She stabs her with a machete.
Gotcha.
Right? Just really hates this girl for no reason.
Yeah. Well, she hates her because she has to frame her.
Yes.
That's the thing. Is she's like,
I don't know how stabbing her with a machete helps frame her.
I also don't understand why pouring alcohol and burning her alive in the room would have helped. You already had her framed.
I don't understand.
Okay.
So now, while this is happening, Andre is out at the church and he sees the smoke. And he's like, "What's going on over there?" And as he gets closer, he realizes the house is on fire. So he starts doing an incantation, and he uses all of his power. He's very powerful.
And he's like, "Daddy don't know, Mommy's getting hot at the body shop.
That's the
doing
incantation.
something unholy."
That's a different singer. That is a different person.
Yeah.
And he makes it rain, really powerful rain.
Wait,
and
he has X-Men from Storm powers now?
He makes lightning come out of his knuckles.
I'm literally wearing an X-Men shirt this whole movie.
Yeah, movie.
Yeah, it's a movie.
So
lightning is shooting from his knuckles.
He's so powerful, right? He's
and
finally
the cops are there
him.
and they're not shooting him?
Nope.
Okay.
Lightning coming out of his knuckles, intense thunderstorm. He runs into the house, kicks the door down, grabs Beatrice, barely makes it out in time.
He has Emperor Palpatine powers where he can shoot lightning from his hands.
The thing is, he doesn't know his own power.
Oh, he doesn't know his own power?
So he's just accessing it for the first time.
Oh, okay. So he's just a Padawan.
He didn't realize that this was how powerful he was.
He's a Padawan witch.
Cut. Next morning, Beatrice is recovering. Juana died. Okay?
Of course she died. She broke a rib and she was on fire.
Yeah, so she dies. Quick funeral. No. Just quick funeral. It's the reason I have to say it is because everything in this story is so elaborate, so verbose, so slightly over-explained that when we get these burials and they're just like burial, I was just like, whoa, we're just not going to go into it. So everything is getting back to normalish now. Things are settling down. While they're settling down,
because Donna Marie got her revenge.
Rodolfo's
Duana dead. What's the other one's name? Anna Marie?
Ana Luisa,
dead. Donna Maria, she's
been in the wall.
But she also is now the queen of Broad Street.
So they find a bunch of letters while they're... Okay, so here's the thing. Beatrice gets cleared. Cops aren't charging her with shit. They realize
because they watched the lady try to light her on fire.
They realized that maybe they had picked the wrong guy on this.
Okay, yeah, gotcha.
So while they're... this is the other thing. So Beatrice has to basically execute the estate. And again, she's so naive the whole book that I'm supposed to believe that she knows how to do this.
Yeah.
And this is the part of the book I couldn't believe. I could believe ghosts. I could believe blood and silks. But at this point in time, she now has to execute the estate, and somehow she does it seamlessly.
Okay.
And I'm like, guys, no.
Sure.
Okay. So
maybe it was easier back then.
Maybe.
I don't know, because there's a lot of executor and estate laws that are written to make it more complicated to create the need for lawyers. Maybe they didn't have as many of them last
for an
time.
uneducated woman in 1820.
Okay.
Who's under 24.
Okay.
But over 17.
Okay.
So
when you put it like that.
they find letters that were in Rodolfo's office, right? Because they're going through all the paperwork. And in the letters were letters from her mom, who had been reaching out to her, and Rodolfo had been hiding these letters.
Oh, no.
And her mom had moved somewhere else. She was living in a cottage away from Tia, and the mom's been writing, ask her to come visit. Oh. So she's like, you just yawned so hard.
I know it was but also at the same time. Well, it's very reminiscent of that one book.
What book?
It was a different book we did a while ago where she was trying to reach out to her mom. Wasn't that Red Rabbit?
No.
There's a one where she's trying to reach her mom. I can't remember which book it was. We've done so many books.
We've learned a lot.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll somebody in the comments will let us know.
Okay. There's one where there was a character, though, where they left the mom behind, and then that she'd been reaching out to the mom the entire time. I'm pretty sure it's Red Rabbit.
Maybe. I don't remember.
I think it was the end of Red Rabbit.
So her mom lives in a cottage. She decides she is going to set up this estate. Paloma's in charge. The guy, Jose Mendoza, is going to run the estate. She's leaving. She's going to stay with her mom. Okay? Everything's going to run smoothly on its own. Everybody is to be trusted.
Okay.
No questions asked.
On the alcohol.
Send me money.
On the alcohol ranch.
Yeah. Send me money.
Sure.
I guess I'm the boss. The end. And so she decides she's going to leave. Now, the whole time, Andre is like, don't leave. Stay here. I'm staying here. And she's like, no, I have to go. And they're trying to make this like weird sexual tension, but the whole time I'm like, it doesn't exist. I don't know why you're pretending it exists.
Yeah.
He's a priest. He's staying here for the community. He loves the community. This woman, for all of her faults, this book I felt she had, hasn't slept in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Right? She's been tortured. She's been beat up. She was stabbed with a machete and she was set on fire. Yeah. She needs to go spend some time with her mom.
Yeah.
Okay? And don't ask her to stay. Let her go. And so she does. She leaves. And Andre's still there with the town, with Paloma. And all the original spirits that lived in the house are back again because they're not being drowned out by Anna Maria. They're lovely spirits. The spirits he used to talk to as a child. Yeah, Donna Maria.
Okay.
So all the spirits that used to be there that he talked to as a child are there. And everything is returning to normal. End of book.
That's the book?
That's it.
Oh. Okay.
Your face right now is so funny. He looks deeply confused, but yet seems like he has nothing to say.
No, I have something to say, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to say it right after this little break here, because we'll come back and let's talk about our final thoughts. I want to process everything you just said and take a minute. And yeah, we'll come right back after this.
Okay.
And we'll wrap this up. And we're back.
We're here.
Mrs. P.
Yeah.
What I was going to say from the previous segment.
Yeah.
Is I can see why you had issues with this book. And the biggest one being that the main character is an idiot. And that it did
drives
come
me
through.
Crazy every time.
But also, I'm also hearing the book from your perspective, not hers.
Yeah.
Because you're the one telling me the story.
Yes.
And so like I can see why people like it.
No, that's the thing is I again, never yucking anyone's yum. I understand why they like it. It definitely builds this like experience. Like again, it's like this Gothic. It's like the darkness around. They're really building the vibes and the mood. It's a very moody book. But that being said, there was just some lack of character development that just drove me crazy. Like Juana and Beatrice and Ana Luisa, like they're so one note that it drove me nuts. Yeah. That I was like, why? Number one, we don't even know why Juana killed her. Why'd she kill the ex-wife? What was the reason? We can infer that she wanted to maintain control of the household. Yeah. We can infer that maybe, but when did she get murdered? Why did Ana Luisa help? Yeah. Like, because clearly Ana Luisa helped because the spirit went and killed her.
But also, why is she buried in the wall?
Why? How did they have a fake ceremony of burying her? How'd they get away with that?
Yeah. I feel like they really pushed the Andre part. And they really want to get to the fact that Andre is a mystical Catholic priest. Yes. Who has witch powers and is standing in both worlds.
I love that for him.
Yeah, which is great. But it was like, okay, we get it. He's bisexual. But the rest of the story, I don't know. It felt like it didn't feel like it, at least from my angle and from what the information I got, is the Mexicans War of Independence and the time frame and all that stuff felt more like dressing than it did. And maybe that's just the way you described it.
Maybe it could be how I described it. I don't know. The War of Independence was clearly a character in this book.
Yeah.
But like the other characters, I didn't have enough background information. And like with the War on Independence, I could go look it up.
Yeah.
But I couldn't look up Ana Luisa's motives. I couldn't look up why did she set the room on fire? She was about to get arrested. She was about to go get put away for life for murdering her husband. Why did you need to set her on fire?
Yeah.
Like the motives of the war I could look up. I couldn't look up the motives of the three main characters that were, because it was a very female-led book. So like, but they also didn't engage with each other very often. They didn't really speak to each other other than like one or two sentences here or there. So it just frustrated me. It frustrated me that I didn't know a lot about the characters, but I knew so much about the set dressings. And yeah, it frustrated me a lot. But I understand why people liked it, which is why I had to do it.
I just turned to a page. And like one thing that does get me sometimes, and I understand why it's done, but it's a thing that happens in books, especially that are either being translated in English or, again, are set in another language. Buenos dias, dona, the first priest said, I am Padre Vicente. It's like, okay, you are speaking in English. Mm-hmm. You're also speaking in Spanish. So to me, since I know it's being translated from Spanish into English.
Yeah.
But then part of it's still in Spanish. Is that the part where you showed up and said hello in English? Like, did he say, hello, mistress?
Yeah.
Mi amo padre, Father Vicente.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's because you're flipping it. Like, that's the part that's the type of like weird shit that always gets me crazy.
Yeah.
And that's part of that is from watching and playing like subtitles in movies and in video games and in like comic books and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think it was good. I actually did enjoy it. Again, it's not one of, horror in general isn't a genre I love.
Yeah. But I keep forcing you to listen to it.
You do keep forcing me to listen to it.
Because it's my favorite.
I think that I was kind of annoyed that Rodolfo isn't a Bluebeard type, that he isn't the one that murdered the wife, even though he's a bag of shit who assaults who assaults people on the property and
also,
all that
we
stuff.
didn't even get to enjoy his murder. Like, we find out that he's a bag of shit.
He's killed off camera.
Yeah. He's like, we find out he's a bag of shit. There's so much focus on him as this like person, but then it's just like, oh, he died.
Yeah.
He's buried. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Let me have a good time.
Well, it would have been
dying.
better. That's the thing is, to me, I would have liked it more, I think, if the spirit of the dead ex-wife was almost tied into like Beatrice's naivete battling back at night.
Yeah.
Like if almost there was like a Jekyll and Hyde or almost like a Fight Club dual personality
also, the fact
thing.
that it's clear in the book that the ghost of the ex-wife doesn't attack Rodolfo.
Yeah.
That's why he doesn't feel cold. That's why he doesn't hear the noises. That's why he doesn't experience it at all.
Yeah.
She's only mad at the
sister.
women.
Yeah.
And Beatrice.
Yeah.
And like, okay, so we know that the staff hated you because you were a crazy bitch.
Yeah.
And we know that your husband's a bag of shit, but you're not mad at your husband for being a bag of shit?
Well, I mean, that's kind of typical, though, with, like, the cheaters in general and stuff like that. Like, when you go back and watch the show Cheaters and things, like, the two people are cheating, like, she attacks the woman. You know what I mean? It's like, well, it's his...
so Bad Baby is mad at Alabama Barker right now.
Yeah, exactly. And you did explain that to me in detail. But with that, I think we could wrap up. What I'll say is it's the best book we read in 2025. No.
That's not true.
What was the last book we did?
Board Gay Werewolf.
Oh, yeah, Board Gay Werewolf was so much better than this.
I wasn't kidding.
I forgot. It's been a long year.
It's been a long year.
It's been a long year already here in February.
It's February and you've already forgot January.
Oh my God. No, but I think for overall in it, I mean, this is pretty middle.
Yeah. It wasn't my favorite, but I wanted to do it because I've heard so much about it and I know so many people love it. And I understand why they like it. It just maybe wasn't for me.
It's just not for you.
And I'm not going to yuck other people's yum.
Yeah, and I opened up and was like flipping through a couple pages and stuff like this. I don't know, like my heart skipped against the base of my throat as I thought of Andres going limp as a rag flung against the wall. The wall was rough, white, plain, no sign of supernatural events, no blood slicked the floor, no copal filled the air. It's like, okay, guy flew across the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just like I can see what you mean by it's a little over described, but again, it's building that.
It's building that thing. And if you like that, if you like to read books that really take you to somewhere like that, where it's like they're really building
really
the world,
describing,
then you'd love it.
There's a thing in sci-fi that happens often where certain writers will get really into
World building.
Not just world building, like literal engineering.
Yeah.
And so, like, they'll be describing to you the spaceship, and it's like you have like almost half a chapter, which is like 20 pages of like describing to you the faster than light drive and all these different things. Which, like, again, if their theories are right and you're super into engineering, great.
Yeah.
But if they're wrong, you're just listening to somebody be wrong for 20 pages. But also I don't care. Like, when I get in a plane, plane takes off. Like, that's what I know. Okay, not anymore.
Not anymore.
Now they crash.
Yeah.
Very fast. Because you know what? Here we go. Let's go ahead and close it up. And we'll, if you made it to the end of the episode, you could write the following: DEI keeps planes in the sky.
DEI keeps planes in the sky.
So, guys, thank you so much for joining us for this episode here of Too Many Tabs. We'll be back next week with another fun episode. And as always, if you want to join us at Pearlmania500.net, you can always join us over there for the warm up and for vibing with the food idiot.
Oh, yeah, we got to do a new one of those.
It's coming, and so much more that is happening all the time. Please, if you have the time, go check out on Spotify or on Apple iTunes. Give us a 5-star review.
Call to action. 5 stars, 3 stars. Leave a review.
No,
like,
3 stars.
Subscribe.
Just 5 stars. Just 5 stars. Just 5 stars.
Too many frauds and too many scammers that we wish weren't real. Too many cons and too many spammers, and we're starting to feel like we've got too many tabs open. It's too many tabs. Remember to smile.